Hello everyone and welcome to the Season 4 premiere of Sportsballin. I'm Dylan Simmons alongside the main man TJ Warner and in his series debut Mr. Jace Standrich. Let's get pumped like Taylor Swift on a Travis Kelce touchdown and get right into the fun. It all started with the Tennessee Titans when they took the Cincinnati Bengals to the woodshed with a 27-3 blowout at Nissan Stadium. Tennessee cooked the Bengals like smoked sausage on the back of Ryan Tannehill's 240 passing yards and King Henry's 122 rushing yards. TJ, are the Titans a team to fear in the AFC South race?
Well, I think the Titans are a team to look at in the AFC South just because the other teams in the South. I think Jacksonville's definitely the best team in the South roster-wise, but I think they are a team to look at in the South. Is this game really a good look of what the season is going to look like the rest of the year for the Titans? I don't think so yet. I think the Bengals are not the team that we thought they were coming into the season for sure, but I think the Titans do have a chance to come to the AFC South if they can figure out certain offensive line issues.
Absolutely. They need to limit their turnovers. I think their fumbles, Ryan Tannehill had two fumbles against this game, and I think if they limit their turnovers, they got a really good chance of winning this division, especially with the defense that can compete with the top level of the NFL this year.
Yeah, I will say this. The Cincinnati Bengals, I don't know what's going on with them right now. I mean, they lack explosiveness. This team couldn't find explosiveness if you put them in a volcano. That's how unexplosive they are right now.
Absolutely.
They just don't have any bite to their game. Joe Burrow needs to be he needs to sit and be healed because he's not throwing right. He can't use the full weight of his leg, and you can't throw the same way when you have that. Not that I've ever been on a football field, but that's just what I'm seeing here. And the Titans, I will say, they looked pretty good in this game. King Henry bulldozing people. The defense balling out. Even Ryan Tannehill over the hill. He looked like Joe Montana. 240 yards passing. The guy looked pretty solid. So I think this team looked good this week, but I just think it's a flash in the pan because we saw what happened against the Browns. We saw what happened against the Saints in week 1. This offense is not the same offense. They don't play with consistency. I think they'll have their good weeks, but they're also going to have their bad weeks. To me, they scream 7 and 10.
Yeah, and I think it's before this game coming into it, we saw that Derrick Henry got hit behind the line of scrimmage by an average of 7 feet before every single play touched the ball.
Yeah.
This game, it looked a lot different with against the Bengals. He obviously rushing yards was better than he has a single game yet this season. If they can continue to do that and give Derrick Henry the ball and give him a chance to make something happen and not getting hit by 2 or 3 guys in the line of scrimmage before that happens, I think they have a chance to figure it out.
And I think also it includes that they're 2-0 at home this season.
Yeah, they are.
Against the Chargers that have been a solid team and against the Bengals that have been not so good. But I think home field has been a huge factor for them this year up to this point.
I mean, they play well at Nissan Stadium for whatever reason. I'm not sure what it is because, no offense to Nissan Stadium, but I don't think it's the greatest stadium in the world.
Absolutely.
I have been. The one day I went, though, the speaker caught on fire. Everything was bad. It was the hottest day in Nissan Stadium history. But that's besides the point. That's a tangent. The stadium is a home field advantage for them, and they play well. So they're motivated. But it just seems like they can't maintain it. And they do have Indianapolis next. I think they got Baltimore after that. So they've got a couple of hard-ish games coming up where they could get a victory, but I don't see them winning the South. To me, it's Jacksonville's division to lose. They have the most talent. They have the best quarterback, in my opinion. Yep. They've got the most well-rounded roster that has been there before. And I think that's going to be a huge difference in this one.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and for sure. And if you look at it, everyone in the South right now is 2-2. So at the race right now, Tennessee is tied for first.
Yeah.
But we'll see how it goes on down the road. I agree with you. I think it's Jacksonville's to lose. Houston has come on late. They're at 2-2 as well with C.J. Stroud performing well.
I know you like C.J. Stroud.
Of course I do. Of course I do. But at Tennessee, they have some games to prove. Especially, I'm looking forward to that Jacksonville matchup to see exactly how they face up against Trevor Lawrence and that defense as well.
Absolutely. I think the Titans have a great chance as long as anybody else is in this division.
We'll see how it all works out, guys. But all right, everyone, put a pillow under your jaw because it's going to be on the floor in just a second. It is the first Season 4 edition of Turn Me Up with TJ Warner. TJ, take it away.
Yeah, so if this is your first episode ever watching Sportsballin, this is called Turn Me Up TJ. I'll be breaking down a top 5 plays of the week for Sportsballin. So let's dive right into it. At number 5, we have Drake May for North Carolina. We're going to roll you the clip here real quick. This is a nice little flip pass here by Drake May. And let's go ahead and say he was a right-handed quarterback. Watch him throw it with his left hand. Little flip pass with the lefty.
Oh.
Look at that. And gets pancaked by 2 Pittsburgh guys, but goes for a touchdown. Drake May, Turn me up, young boy. Turn me up. That is a great play by a Heisman contender. All right, but next up we got number 4, Chris Olave. Let's run that one again. Not gonna lie, I thought he might have fumbled, but the balance of catching that ball is just insane.
Turning.
Turn me up, Chris Olave. Turn me up. That's a great catch. Moving on next, Garrett Wilson versus Tre'Davious White.
Oh my
And he just he completely mosses him. It's just like not even close.
Intercepted an interception.
And W celebration at the end, completely hurdling him at the end too. But Garrett Wilson, that is extreme, great lead ball skills. Pause. Anyways, that was a great catch by Garrett Wilson. Turn me up, Garrett. Number 2, we have Josh Kelly from Washington State here against Oregon State. Top matchup right here too.
What happened?
And you couldn't even see. He couldn't see the ball at all. And then all of a sudden, just snags it one-handed. Defender had no idea where he was. No idea when the throw was coming.
Wow.
Josh Kelly sticks his hand out there and just pulls it in.
Those uniforms are crazy,
Dude,
by the way.
that is just an insane catch by Josh Kelly. Turn me up, Josh Kelly. That was a great one right
Those
there.
uniforms are top tier. By
The number 1 play of the week right here, Ricky Pearsall, just out of thin air, takes the hit and holds onto the ball. Look at this throw again. This angle is the best part about it.
Oh my goodness.
It looks like the Michael Jordan logo for NBA almost. I think that is up there with the OBJ catches.
And the fact that he took a hit on that and kept going, hold on to the ball, holy cow.
Yeah, that is the catch of the year so far, no doubt about it. Either NFL or college, that's the catch of the year so far. But turn me up, Ricky Pearsall. I think that was a great run of 5 plays for the week.
I absolutely agree.
I think
Those were
was
incredible.
Einstein-level brilliance right there, Mr. TJ. When we return, we have college football collisions and the Atlanta Braves pushing hard for a World Series championship. We will be right back on Sportsballin.
America, welcome home the brave. The brave men and women who serve their country are coming home. Home to their cities and towns. Home to their mountains and valleys. Home to their families and friends. Home to America. Some of these warriors are coming home with wounds you can see, and some with wounds you can't see, like post-traumatic stress disorder. Wounded Warrior Project was created to provide the support these wounded veterans need to ensure their return to America is well-adjusted and successful. But we need your help to ensure that our mission is a success. Help us honor and empower these wounded warriors. Contact us at findwwp.org. America, welcome home the brave. You can't buy a best friend. You can love them, pet them, care for them, whether they want you to or not. You can take a picture or 50. You can bring them with you wherever you go. You can jump, yell, hide and go seek, play dress up, or not. Go for a walk, or not. You can fly to the moon, travel the world, or just stay in bed. You can't buy a best friend like that. But you can adopt one. 'Cause we're connected. We're connected.
From Iraq and Afghanistan, our brave warriors are coming home, wounded. Some with wounds you can see, some with wounds you can't see. Wounded Warrior Project was created to support our men and women coming off the battlefield. Please help carry these warriors the rest of the way home. Get involved at woundedwarriorproject.org.
Welcome back. College football has returned like edge to professional wrestling, and it has created some incredible moments already. This week we are spotlighting MTSU versus WKU, USC versus Colorado, and Georgia versus Auburn. And Jace, I know you have a few things to say about the MTSU game.
Absolutely. This team, this Blue Raider team has looked atrocious to start this year.
Oh,
they have looked Awful.
Careful, Jace.
This program is built on mediocrity. Extending a head coach after going 500 is wild to me. How that is the definition of Middle Tennessee. I mean, it's in the name. But Stock has started in 2006 and has 2 conference championships in 17 years. And one of those came after his first season as head coach. If MT wants to go to a bowl game every other year in a cool location, then Stock, that's fine. That's your coach. But if you want to contend for conference championships, you have to find a new leader in that clubhouse, in that locker room. So it is getting to a point where it's getting crazy for Middle Tennessee State.
You're dropping pipe bombs out here.
Yeah, that's some big accusations there.
Yeah,
Jace.
Got walloped by Western Kentucky. That's the biggest game of the year for these Blue Raiders, and you just can't get it done.
Well, let's move on to the USC Colorado game. I don't know if you boys watched this one.
Yes.
But Caleb Williams completely dominated the first half.
Absolutely.
It was the Caleb Williams show, no doubt about it. Throwing dimes, had 403 yards, 6 touchdowns in this game.
Yeah.
But then the second half came around, and Shedeur Sanders completely turned the game around. He had one very bad pick in the first half.
He did.
I will give him that. That was really bad. Really bad.
Really bad.
But the way they fought back in this game, they were down 48-21 at one point and came back to 48-41.
Late in the third quarter, too.
And if they would have converted an onside kick, I think Shedeur Sanders does lead them down and gets that touchdown at the end of the game. But they just had no timeouts left to get the onside kick.
Yes.
This was a good game all in all. I don't think USC's defense is what anyone thinks they used to be. They're not there. They're not up to the near of the national championship contender level. The offense is definitely there for USC, but not the defense-wise.
Absolutely. I mean, Caleb Williams, Heisman frontrunner. I mean, it's looking good. But Colorado, they showed a lot of heart in this game.
They did. I'll get more into that later as well with my hot take. Spoiler alert, by the way. Let's move on because I'm talking about Georgia versus Auburn. And guys, I'm just going to say it. Georgia looks as fraudulent as a ChatGPT paper. I mean, they were just brutal against Auburn throughout this game. If it wasn't for Brock Bowers turning into the Hulk at the end of that game, just shrugging guys off of him, they would have lost this game. You heard me first. I mean, he looked like the best tight end in the world, but Georgia can't be bailed out by that forever, okay? The high-end talent cannot bail you out throughout the season because at some point, someone's going to find a way to limit Brock Bowers, all right? This team has had a cupcake schedule so far. Let's see how they do against a team like, I don't know, a Texas or a Washington or even Alabama. I don't know if Alabama...
They won't play those teams, though.
They only play Tennessee.
They play Tennessee,
Tennessee
Missouri, and Florida.
That's the problem, man. It's the SEC, which is another hot take. They're so weak right now. But
absolutely.
They allowed Auburn to rush for over 200. Auburn for over 200 yards. That hasn't happened since Joe Burrow's LSU Tigers faced them in 2018. This is a massive warning sign. Hugh Freeze and Auburn did this to them. If they keep playing like this, they will not make it to Atlanta. I mean, that's all I'm going to say about that. But you know what? We're going to move on from that because I don't want to bag on them forever. Let's talk about a team with some great success. Because the Atlanta Braves have been pulverizing the MLB like Buster Douglas versus Mike Tyson in the year of 2023. Atlanta has a league best record of 105-83 and are the #1 seed in the National League. Jace, I know you were the baseball man, so we'll start with you. They lost to the Nationals 10-9 this most recent regular season game, but what should we expect from this Braves team?
We should expect a World Series. I mean, coming up later, spoiler alert, but this is one of the best teams that I've ever seen personally. This is a team that if they don't win the World Series, it'll be a massive, massive disappointment. And I know they have a tough road to go through the Phillies, and I know they lost last year in the NLDS against the Phillies.
Yes, they did.
But I think if they get back to Philadelphia, and they will wallop them this year. Even though they're coming in hot, I think the Atlanta Braves should easily be favored and easily should win this World Series.
Yeah, if you look back at my hot take last season, I said the Braves would win the World Series. I still stand by that now. I agree with Jace.
You did.
I think Acuna is an MVP this year, but I like the Braves this year for sure.
I mean, I think you can feel it in the air, guys. Braves baseball is back in full force. Last year was a misstep against the Phillies, but I think that this season is where they should get the job done. I don't think anyone in the MLB can really stack up to them. You got the NL with the Dodgers and the Brewers, but I think the Braves overall are just the better team. They're going to take care of business in this one. We'll see how it all shakes out. Get out the fire extinguisher because this team is on an absolute fire streak. Speaking of heat, when we come back, we'll burn it more than a drop of Sandy's hot sauce with our first Season 4 Hot Takes of the Week. Do not change that dial.
To pose, now shush. She makes the sound she makes to calm me down.
I'm here. Can you see me? Because I feel like I'm invisible. Like this whole place is invisible. If it weren't for the nightly news, no one would even think of this place. But down here, things look different. Down here, our spirits are bright and our dreams are vivid. And if given a chance, that's what the world would see.
In the past 50 years, we've made a lot of progress in smoking prevention. But if we don't do more, 1 out of every 13 children alive today will die early from smoking. That's 5.6 million precious lives we can save. Together, we can make the next generation tobacco-free.
Welcome to the Saharan Desert, in which lies the hottest of all hot takes of the week. TJ, we'll start it off with you.
So my hot take of the week is one that everyone's going to think is hot. I think Washington Huskies is the best team in college ball right now at this point.
Wow.
In this point of the season.
Oh,
I watched them personally, first-handed, at that Michigan State game in East Lansing. That was a team that Michael Penix Jr. just absolutely dismantled the Spartans. And
he did.
He should be, in my eyes, no doubt the front runner for Heisman candidate right now.
Absolutely.
He's thrown for 2,000 yards, leads the nation in passing yards, and is third in the nation in QBR. He is absolutely torching everyone's defense right now. Washington also has the #1 offense in passing yards and total yards right now. They have 2 great receivers in Rome and Jalen that are just completely torching everyone's secondary. Michael Penix Jr. and those 2 guys are just doing a master class of work. Their defense, yes, I understand. They've given up some points to some lesser opponents. I get that. But they're turning it around. They got guys like Braylon Trice that are starting to finally get pressure on the quarterback and forcing them to throw the ball. And the DBs are finally able to break up some passes here and there. They're turning it around. I understand it looks shaky at some points, but with the opponents they have coming around, I think they're going to turn it around.
I think it's going to be a tough road ahead, especially in that Pac-12 conference, especially how strong they've been this year. I think it's going to be tough for them, but I think they could easily do it if they get the right players and right momentum.
I'll keep this brief. I honestly don't dislike this. UW looks like a legit team this year. I'll admit that. And when you look at what they've done against their opponents, you see what you're talking about. They've annihilated Cal, Michigan State, Boise State, Tulsa. Everyone's been thrown asunder. And, teams like Georgia, Alabama, Florida State, they're all laying eggs. And, by the way, Florida State, not a top 10 team. But that's another hot take for another day.
Wow.
Miami fan. But, what I see when I see this team is all business. They are more business than a Rockefeller trading stock in New York, all right? They are that business. And I think they'd be #1 overall in a lot of rankings. I think they should be. They should be above Georgia because we already know what I think of Georgia. Penix already has 1,999 yards this season. He's looking really darn good. I think they're going to be a good team. But, Jace, let's get on to you.
So I have another Atlanta Braves take, and I'm very confident in this ability that this is the greatest Atlanta Braves team of all time.
Oh,
and honestly,
wow.
I don't think it's close. I think the only team that can contend is the 1998 Braves, and even then, I think this offense completely stomps that 98 Braves team. Let me just give you some stats about this. They have 8 All-Stars, and the whole infield was selected. They have the single-season franchise leaders are Matt Olson, 54 home runs, 139 RBIs, Ronald Acuna Jr., 73 stolen bases, Spencer Strider, 281 strikeouts. Those all lead Braves franchise history. They have 5 players of 30-plus home runs and 4 players with 35-plus home runs. No team in history has ever done that. This team has 2 aces with Max Fried and Spencer Strider.
They do.
This team tied for the most home runs in a single season with the 2019 Twins. They tied with 307. This team is the first team ever to have over a 500 slugging percentage as a whole, which is incredible. They're first place, second place team. I'm coming with the stats.
It's hard to argue against.
It is
too.
statistically the best team of all time, and if this team wins the World Series, they will be a top 5 team in MLB history, and I think that is very likely to happen.
Statistically, yeah, I agree with you statistically, but in my opinion, they need to win the World Series for them to actually be that team. So we'll see later on down the road during the playoffs if they win that World Series or not.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think this team definitely has the talent to be the greatest Braves team of all time, but at the end of the day, it's like the Seattle Mariners. I can't remember which year it was, the one with Ichiro. You can have the best record in the world, but if you don't win the World Series, everyone thinks you're a failure.
Same for the 2016 Warriors when they won 73 games and lost to the Cavs in the finals. I mean, it can go to every game. So they have to execute and they have to finish strong. But if they finish strong, man, I can't see another argument for it.
Cruel reality of sports. It's going to be fun to see, but I'll get on to my hot take here because I think that the Colorado Buffaloes will win the Big 12 in 2 years in football. That's right. I am buying into Coach Prime and the Buffs. So let's get this started off because I think this team is 100% legit in every sense of the word. Colorado is not quite to the standard of a CFB contender yet, but I believe that this team could be heading in that direction. A lot of people will look at what happened against USC and be like, well, they didn't win. But what they did was they competed. And that is going to inspire recruits because it's not about winning and losing in these early years. It's about getting players to buy into what you're selling. And Deion Sanders, he's the ultimate salesman right now.
Absolutely.
He is getting them bought into the system. And, you know, if people want to say, oh, well, Colorado needs to be winning more games, I mean, should we forget that Nick Saban lost Louisiana Monroe in his first year at Alabama, and Mike Norvell with Florida State lost in his first season to Jacksonville State, who is now in CUSA, but that's a whole other topic. Anyway, I think that when you look at this team, they are getting better and better. They're competing against top teams. They had a speed bump against Oregon, but overall, they're going to be a team that I think in the Big 12, especially with Texas and Oklahoma leaving, they're going to be a team to watch out for, guys.
I could absolutely see it.
Yeah, I agree with your take, but to an extent, I think he needs to bring in some different type of recruits for them to reach that next level. I think the offense and defensive line needs to be beefed up a little bit. I don't know exactly what the quarterback situation is going to look like after this year for Colorado. Right. I think Shedeur Sanders will probably go to the NFL draft after this year.
I think he stays, personally.
Who knows? He's ranked a top 5 quarterback in the draft right now.
That's true.
Why not leave that rate? I mean, his dad, obviously Coach Prime, was one of the best in the NFL ever.
He was.
But also, I just don't think moving to the Big 12. I know Oklahoma, Texas is leaving the Big 12, but the competition there is still a little bit different than what the Pac-12 is. So I think they're going to have to beef up both the offensive line and defensive line and kind of figure out what the quarterback situation will look like in the next 2 years for to have a chance.
Absolutely. I think Coach Prime has built this team to have a dog mentality. I mean, he has patches with dogs and leaders. I mean, this team has no quit. They are fighters, and they won't stop until they reach their goal, and their goal is a national championship. So I think a Big 12 championship in the coming years is very likely, but it also, how are they gonna move to the Big 12? How are they gonna move, and how are they gonna settle into the new conference? We don't know.
Yeah, best salesman is an understatement for Coach Prime.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
I mean, he's getting everyone to buying into the hype. And look at the media. They're going to every game. Big Noon Kickoff was there again. And I love Big Noon Kickoff. But, man, Boulder's getting a lot of love. But can't say I blame them. Colorado, they're legit, guys. Scorching stuff as always, fellas. When we return, get out your thinking food because we have our picks of the week. Do not go anywhere.
never knew when I would have to move, so I always had my suitcase ready to go. Then one day, I was adopted. My new parents opened their hearts and home to me. My parents cook my favorite breakfast for me every morning. My parents take me on trips I never thought I would go on. They gave me a home and an even better reason to use that suitcase. My parents aren't perfect, but they're perfect for me.
Jordan knows he shouldn't eat this entire bowl of nachos, but tonight he's earned that right. Because a few hours ago in the middle of happy hour, he recognized a sign. Not from the gods or a bolt of lightning, but from a double heart, a kissy face, and a fourth ha in ha ha ha. That's when Jordan knew he was buzzed. So when it was time to go, he got a ride home instead of driving. Be a legend like Jordan. Recognize your buzzed warning signs and get a ride home. Buzz driving is drunk driving.
The black truck? Hey, Christina from accounting.
Yeah, hi.
Hey, I used to date a girl named Christina.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and then she dumped me for my best friend. You want to see some photos of them that I took?
I don't.
I thought we talked about this, buddy.
Buzzed and overshared again?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm gonna call a car.
That's a smart idea.
So, yeah, I know, that's why I did it.
Hey, you're gonna get back to the top of the mountain.
Does that mean I'm gonna get back with Christina?
No.
Oh.
No.
Here you go.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Welcome back to Sportsballin. It's now time for our picks of the week. Let's get it started with Middle Tennessee versus Jacksonville State Wednesday at 7 p.m.
Yeah, Jacksonville State's 4-1 right now with their only loss to Coastal Carolina. Give me the Jacksonville State.
I can't believe that MTSU is favored in this game.
Oh,
that is wild to me how they are favored in this game. Have you seen how they've been playing?
Man.
Jacksonville State, give me the game.
No remorse for them today.
He hates the Blue Raiders.
You guys are going hard on Middle Tennessee today. I think the Raiders are going to find a way. They'll find a way. They're going to get the passing game fixed. I think they're going to make the adjustments they need to. Middle Tennessee gets the win by 10 points. Now we got Nashville SC versus Orlando City SC Wednesday at 7:30.
You try to slide in the 10 points.
Yeah,
I think Nashville SC gets the job done here. If they don't, it's going to end in a tie. I don't think Orlando City wins this game.
Absolutely. I mean, I think Nashville, I think they got it. The past 5 matchups, they've either won or they've drawn. So I think they'll continue that trend.
It's going to be a draw. I say it's 1-1. I don't think anybody wins. I don't think it's ever been done on sports ball, but it's going to be a draw. And hey, in soccer, that happens. And finally, guys, Tennessee Titans versus the Indianapolis Colts Sunday at noon.
Yeah, give me the Colts. Enough said.
I think the Titans can continue rolling, and I can see them going into Indianapolis, into Lucas Oil Stadium, and beating up on the Colts.
Colts are going to win. They're going to find a way. Gardner Minshew magic, baby. All right, guys, let's put an end to this like the Yankees in the playoffs. Remember that you can catch Sports Ballin' every week right here on Blue Raider Television. For Jay Stanrich and TJ Warner and our entire awesome crew, I'm Dylan Simmons saying so long, and remember to always have an electric night.